Therefore, I will raise the question, why do I have to practice Vajrayana? We don't need to, no? Lots of people don't go into Vajrayana. They are happy with just resting and find a peace within themselves. Even so-called Mahamudra and Dzogchen practitioners, they just directly go direct to open awareness. In this context, I'm talking about Vajrayana is a creation phase and completion phase, those two stages, more like involved. They are called the path of means, Taplam. So there are two paths in Vajrayana. Taplam, that's a path of means, and Doram. Doram means a path of liberation. So path of liberation is, for example, Mahamudra, just the open awareness. Mahamudra, in this context, I'm referring just to staying in the nature of mind. And Dzogchen, in this context, just resting in Dikpa. Then Tapram is, for example, this Vajrayana Idam practices we do, right? And in the case of Vika framework of Mahamudra, it's, for example, 6 yoga of Naropa and the Turko, and so the wisdom body training, which I am sharing, and those things. And in terms of Dzogchen, in the bigger context, Tapram is like a togel, crossover. And so the body, subtle body emphasis oriented practices. So anyway, why we go into those Vajrayana practices? There are many ways to answer to that. It's kind of nice to share with mature practitioners. Some people really love, especially in the West, I think, love the simplicity of just resting. And there's all this other Vajrayana stuff, too complicated, visualizing on ritual, doing this and that, too many things involved, too much to learn. And so there are lots of approach, or the graduate approach and the spontaneous sadhana approach. There are those terms around. So what's your opinion on that? For example, the true practice, that's Vajrayana practice. Really, true. Our lineage. Once you get into the stream of the river, our lineage, ear whisper lineage, this is the old Vajrayana practice, involved completion phase and creation phase and all these things, whole 9 years, as well as resting. Yeah, encompassing, embracing everything. We don't eliminate anything.
No.
Any vitamin. Any yucky stuff or whatever we consider. This perception, one of the things is this identification, so stubborn, this identification we have, who and what we think we are. It's so difficult to cut through without this kind of practice. And so in our tradition, we combine both together. For example, Mahamudra Dzogchen, and then Vajrayana practice have to go together, not one or other, go together. Then how we can explain it to all the Vajrayana practice, not only Vajrayana practice, but any kind of practice, like a refuge or mandala offering or whatever we do practice, do from the point of this Mahamudra Dzogchen, if you're practicing the Dzogchen point of view, means that the mind, so Dipa point of view. So as I said, this is taking the fruits as the path. So everything coming from the, so first we go on to the top of the mountains, so to speak. Then I like that image. Then when you go to the top of mountain, you have a good view, vast vista, no? Then everything is like encompassed, like in a view. So you don't want to kind of eliminate anything. And then another one is just going step by step on the bar, but go up, but at the same time we do both gradual approach because we have so many layers of the obscuration. So anyway, that one point, both go together. So when we think about the motivation why we practice Dharma, Buddhism, the first place is to come to this realization of the true nature, to waken up, awake from the sleep, long time sleep of ignorance. And then there's a teaching or the three forces. I don't know you heard of, but just in this context, I just want to introduce these three forces to realize the true nature. Number one is this meditation practice. We have to do practice, meditation, whatever meditation is. Meditation could be a Vajrayana practice, or than just resting. Then the second one is a breathing. Only meditation is not enough to realize true nature. I'm talking from the Mahamudra and the Dzogchen point of view, the tradition, Mahamudra tradition, which is our true practice is part of. So then breathing. So in terms of breathing, how we receive breathing is through teacher, the presence of teacher at the early stage, and also the advanced stage. As our practice progress, teacher-disciple relationship become key and crucial in Vajrayana practice. I'm sure you heard about teaching on Guru Yoga, in the context of Vajrayana, and also the role of teacher in each stages of Dharma practice, start a kind of progress or take a different role. The third one is the faith, devotion, depa. Also three different kind of phases. We can talk about that or we can study, but why do you think we need a faith to realize the true nature? Faith or devotion to what? Perhaps devotion to wanting to know the truth. So anyway, meditation, breathing, and faith. So in the context of our conversation, just practicing oneself, for example, solitary, just get information through the internet or something like that, or the recording, then meditation, that's not enough. That's what Mahamudra tradition is saying. Need to receive a blessing, complete openness, open heart, and surrendering, sense of surrendering in a deeper sense. And we have to become a vessel to receive blessing. It's very hard term to translate, but I'm sure you have an experience of it. Then the faith. We're talking about Vajrayana practice, no? What's your experience of Idam practice, for example? Like a creation phase. Idam is like an expression of your true nature in a form, appears in a pure form. Pure and meaningful and clear symbolic form takes place. So we use this kind of skillful means, use duality to go beyond the duality. Yeah, lineage masters, they are genuine or support of us. Once we get into the river of the lineage, then the current of the river will carry us. Although we like drowning sometimes, we get to stumble onto the rocks or something like that, but still this current of lineage is pure and uninterrupted. So that's maybe can be that this faith, it's called the faith, is trust, devotion, trust in your own true nature, trust in the lineage masters who are supporting presence. Awake presence is everywhere. Just we don't see doesn't mean doesn't exist. And so that's a faith. So the meditation, breathing, and faith, those three are called three forces to realize the true nature. Yeah, each deity has its own energies.
Yeah.
Those energies we all carry. Yeah, so it's one of the things just point out is the sacred outlook, pure vision, Laknam, Tibetan tongue. And so this really allows us to fill the gap between on the cushion and off the cushion world, so to speak. So we carry this pure visions when we practice on the cushion, sadhana practice and so forth, then we carry that to our own life. So it started to bleed, translated now on the cushion practice into our daily life. So very powerful practice. Yeah.